Hello everyone! Recently I have upgraded my phone to the Galaxy S25 Ultra. While it's a really nice phone and it's a powerhouse, capable of even emulating Switch games flawlessly, I'd rather play these games in the console and not deteriorate the phone's battery. However, I've been having a lot of fun emulating less demanding systems like the Nintendo DS, especially because the S25 Ultra is compatible with the S Pen. Since you always carry your phone with you, you have access to these games anytime, anywhere. And sure, while you can still emulate these games on a tablet that's much less expensive, a tablet is not as portable as a phone. And the experience on the phone is much closer to the original DS. You can experience most touch-based games with a perfect screen ratio and LCD filters. But you don't actually need a flagship phone to enjoy DS emulation. So in today's video, I'm gonna review all of the capacitive touch pen options you can buy. This first model is the cheapest. For like $2, you can buy 10 of them, and just give them away for free to all of your friends, I guess. They have a metal body and a soft rubber tip. This rubber tip is conductive and will only work when the pen is in contact with your hands. And because of that, it does not require batteries to work, which is pretty cool. However, because the pen tip is very large, it's hard to pinpoint where the touch is registered. It basically works as a thinner finger. Also, it requires a bit of pressure to register. Light touches will not be detected. And because the tip is made of rubber, it has a bit of resistance when dragging along the screen. In the end, it does the job, but it could be better. The next model is this one, and it's a bit weird. It has this disc-shaped tip. And actually, there is a Switch game that comes bundled with a pen like this. The disc is made of plastic and there's this flexible rubber joint that moves the disc around. When drawing, you should avoid tilting the pen at a certain angle. And the edges of the disc will not register any touches. The touch is only registered when the full disc is in contact with the screen. But because the disc is transparent, you can see more clearly where the touch is being registered. This makes it a bit more precise than the previous model. And since the disc is made of plastic, the pen glides through the screen very easily. My only concern is with the durability, as this rubber joint seems very thin. The good thing is that the tip is removable and you can replace it if it breaks. The concept is similar to the previous model. The tip is conductive and it works without batteries. Now, this last model is the more advanced of the three. This one has a battery and it must be turned on to work. When you need to recharge it, you can do it with this USB Type-C port. Just like this battery that can interact with the screen's electrical field, this pen works in a similar manner. The tip is made of plastic, and because of that, it glides through the screen very easily. However, the precision is not very accurate. When drawing, you will notice that the touch will be misaligned with the tip of the pen. Sometimes the line comes out right where you expect it to, and other times it's completely out of place. It doesn't have a lot of precision and it's not recommended for drawing. Also, sometimes it can register a touch without even touching the screen. But in the package, at least in this model, you get extra tips. And one of them has a hole like this one. Removing the tip reveals this structure here, which is not removable, but it feels a bit closer to an actual pen. The tip is made of metal, but it glides very easily, and it won't scratch the screen, even though it's made of metal. And with it, you have a bit more of precision, but the misalignment still happens. Even though it's not perfect, I believe that this is the best model. The pen is long and it glides very easily on the screen. It's perfect for playing mobile games. And for DS games, you can use the other tip. It will work with most games with no problem. You just won't have precision, especially when it comes to writing or drawing. And actually, this is not a problem of the pen itself. The Android system has a built-in smoothing algorithm that will reduce noise on the touches. While this is great for swiping motions with your finger, it's not very good for writing, and all three models are susceptible to this. Even on drawing software, the line is always smooth. And this is where the S Pen defeats all other models. First, because the technology is entirely different. It's a magnetic pen, and the screen will detect its magnetic field when you approach it. It also displays a dot showing the exact point where the touch will be registered. And the tip of the pen is also sensitive to pressure. With this combo, you have perfect precision. The lines will always come at the tip of the pen, and the touch only happens with the same amount of pressure. Also, there's no smoothing algorithm, so drawing and writing is simply perfect. And on top of that, the tip is also removable. The tip that comes with the phone has this rubber-like brush. This will give a slight resistance when drawing on the screen. And if you don't like this kind of tip, you can buy this other one. This is entirely made of plastic and it will glide through the screen more easily. The downside of the S Pen though is that it only works with compatible screens. You can't use it on the Nintendo Switch, for example. The other models though works perfectly here, and they're awesome for touch-based games on the Switch. Moving to the final thoughts, I would avoid the first model. The rubber tip doesn't glide smoothly on the screen, and the precision is also not very good. The second model with the disc-shaped tip is a bit better. It glides through the screen smoothly, there is more precision because the disc is transparent, and it doesn't need batteries to function. The third model is one step above. The pen is longer, the tip glides smoothly through the screen, and you can swap it between a thin or a thicker model. The biggest con is that it's a bit less precise and it needs power to work. And the absolute best model is, of course, the S Pen. After all, it was made specifically for this purpose, and it has to deliver the absolute best experience. But the other models are not that bad. You can still enjoy most DS games with them with no problems. And if a DS emulator ever comes to the Nintendo Switch 2, you already have the best option to play those games. I'll be leaving links to these models in the description of this video. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.